In this video, I'm going to show you a cute but different way to make a bow for your cakes. Hi, it's Karolyn. Like I said, in this video, I'm going to show you a different way to make a bow to put on your cake. So if you want to see this cute way that I make bow, I do bows a little differently. It's just a technique that I came up with that works for me. It is a little weird, it's a little different, but it works for me and I hope it works for you. So if you want to see the way that I make this cute little bow and put it on my cake, then just keep on watching. All right, so I already rolled out this fondant and I decided I wanted to film myself doing this. This is marshmallow fondant rolled out to like 1/8 of an inch. It's mixed, as always, I mix it with a little bit of Tylose powder. The Tylose powder helps the fondant stiffen and dry kind of like gum paste. And this beautiful hot pink color, which took me forever to find. I can't remember who told me. I did make a video on this, but it is a mixture of Wilton Rose and Sugar Flare. I'm going to say it's claret. It could be claret, whatever. I'm probably saying it wrong, but mixture of these two colors gets this beautiful pink hue. I rolled this fondant out, and now I do bows really weird, but this is how it works for me. So I'm going to just show you what I do instead of talking. Take a pizza cutter. I'm gonna cut this in half. So now I need 2 pieces to make the bows. I am going to cut this in half again, okay? Just bear with me, I know this is weird. I'm going to put one part on top of the other so I can cut these evenly. Cut down the sides. Now, when you cut through both of them, it kind of seals them together. So I always pull it apart and then place it back down so it doesn't, so it's easier to pick up the top piece. After I do that, I want to curve to both sides and I just eyeball it. So starting in the middle, I'm going to go high and then come back down low. And trying to make it as symmetrical as I can. Peel it off. And then do it again on the bottom side. So now, just like I always do, take your fingers and smooth the edges. And what I'm gonna need to help these bows hold their shape, I have these select a size paper towels and I rip one in half and I'll show you what I do. So to get the bow loops together, I'm gonna flip it over, take a little bit of water on a paintbrush and paint the very end, close it, and then I'm going to lift it up in the middle so it comes down and then lift the sides up. So it kind of goes up, down, up, down. All right, pinch that together in the middle. Do the same for the other one. Now what I want to do, so this bow holds its shape, I have this half piece of paper towel. I'm going to fold it in half again, and then just roll from one end to the other. And stick that inside of the end of the bow so it holds its shape. Doing the same for the other one. So I have the 2 end pieces here. I'm going to set this aside. And I'm going to make the top and the bottom piece and then the center. I do want it to be a little thick. So I'm going to cut a strip. It's about 2 inches wide. Cut it in half. And then I want, this is the ribbon part of the bow. I want the ends to have an angle to it. So I'm just going to cut up and down. Doesn't have to be perfect. Then the same thing. So I'm going to take this and go down, up and down to get these together. And just take a little bit of water in between so it stays together. Do the same for the other one. And now I just need the center piece, the piece that wraps around the middle of the bow. That's going to be a little thinner and shorter. So it's about 5 inches long, about 1 inch wide. What I like to do here, take a little water on the long ends of the strip, then fold the ends in so you don't have a rough edge. This is longer than I need it to be, so I'm just going to cut off the ends, probably about 4 inches long. Okay, now here's all the pieces that I need. So this bow that I want on the cake, I want it to be a little fancy, if you will. So I'm going to have one part going up and the other part coming down. When I put my bows together, these are essentially all going to meet in the middle. I want to cut with my X-Acto knife the tips off of the inside so they sit flush together. Then what I'm going to do, I want the bottom part of this to stick to the top part of this, and I want the top part of this to stick to the bottom part here. And I don't know if I'm explaining this right with words, but hopefully you could just see what I'm doing. Take a little water on my paintbrush, paint the bottom, because that's a part that's going to stick to the top part of this bow. Squeeze it together and do the same in the opposite direction. This is where it can get a little tricky. Now I'm going to trim this again because it's sticking out a little bit. I want the inside parts to be flat so they can touch together. Like this. Now I'm going to take this middle piece and put water on the whole back. Keep the sticky side up. I'm going to stick it down on the mat and then put half of the bow on half of it and the other half on the other side. And I'm going to wet this in the middle so the middle part sticks together. This can get a little tricky because these pieces can get in the way a little bit as you wrap it. So I'm sticking this on one half and then this on the other half and pressing them together in the middle. Moving the bottom piece out of the way as I lift the middle piece up, wrap it around. And now I'm just going to tuck this underneath. This is actually a little long. I'm going to cut it. And tuck this underneath. Squeeze it together. And here's our little funky bow. Now, I like to put this on the cake while it's still pliable so I can get it into the correct shape that I want. But it can get a little tricky because you don't want to mess it up. So you need to let it sit out for a little bit so it can stiffen, but you don't want it to stiffen too much that you can't work with it. So I would say leave this out for 10 to 15 minutes and then you can put it on your cake. Okay, so now is the little tricky part when I want to put the bow on the cake. Because the decorations are down here, I kind of want to put it off to the side. And what I do, I have some piping gel and a paintbrush here. I'm using piping gel to stick it to the cake. So I'm going to pick it up and kind of hold it. I want it kind of on an angle. So you got to mess around with where you want the placement to be. Flip it over. And the pieces that have to stick to the cake are the center, the sides, and here. So I'm just going to take a little bit of piping gel and put it not too close to the edge. Now I'm going to take a paintbrush so I can use the end of the handle to help maneuver this into place. Gonna flip this over and try to find the best place for this to go. This cake is fresh out of the refrigerator. The icing is solid, so I'm not gonna mess up the icing. I wanna try to put this on here so I'm not blocking too much of this Minnie Mouse with this bow. I want it kind of hanging off on an angle. I'm sticking the piping gel part to the cake, pushing in the middle. Anywhere I put piping gel on, I'm just pushing onto the cake. Now I want to give this a little bit of life, so I'm going to kind of bend this in so it has a little bit of bend or shape to it. I have to stick a little more piping gel to the back. Curving this up, you know, like just maneuvering it around into place. And then what I can do, I'm just taking my finger, sliding this down, bending the pieces in, trying to make folds and curves like a normal, like a regular ribbon would. And then I want to make sure that the back of the bow is sticking to the cake. So I have the piping gel. See, it wasn't all the way to the end. It's a little bit in here. I'm just going to take this out, stick the handle in here, and just press the bow against the buttercream to make sure it's sticking. I'm going to stick this back in because I still want the bow to hold its shape and not fall down. So I'm going to let this dry on the cake with the paper towel in it. Same for the bottom. If I take this paper towel out, the bow could flatten, and I want it to have it keep the shape. So I want to make sure, take the back of the handle, make sure that the piping gel on the back of the bow is pressed against the buttercream. And then I'm just going to stick this back in so the bow can hold its shape while it dries. And there you go. Here's a cool little bow. I still have to finish decorating this, but now I have the bow on the cake. I can put this back in the refrigerator, let this dry, and keep working on the cake. So here you go. Here is your cake with your cute little different bow on it. I like it because it's bigger and it takes up more space and it's a little more different. It's a little different than the regular bows that you see on cakes. I'm just going to put this aside so I don't drop it. And I realize now that you can see the back of my shirt, pay no attention. This is my douchey gym shirt. It has no back to it, but I like it because it shows off my muscles. But anyway, with this bow, I always do, add Tylose to the fondant because the Tylose helps the fondant to set hard and makes it easier to work with. If you don't use Tylose and the fondant's too soft, then the bow won't hold its shape. And just like it did in the video, make sure you use some rolled up paper towels or something to keep the bow in its shape. The Minnie and the Daisy are both fondant as well. And I've had a lot of people ask me to do videos on how I do them, but right now I'm just kind of working with my iPhone and iMovie and not like great editing and filming software and all that stuff. So the videos are too long when I film something like that. So I will try to figure that out in the future so I can get more videos out with content like that. So I really can't think of anything else to say about this. If you have any questions, leave them below and I will get back to you as soon as I can. And like always, please like this video if you liked it. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already and you want to see more videos like this. And you can follow me on social media. I am on Facebook and Instagram, and I have my website. I will link all of that below. And I just want to thank all of you for watching my videos and supporting me. I know this isn't a big YouTube channel, but I really appreciate all the positive feedback and the nice things that everyone has said. And I look forward to making more videos for you so I can help you along your cake journey. I think that is it for now, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!